What's up people, Saivo here. Today we're talking Templars and PvE. This is gonna be my how to Templar in PvE guide. I'm gonna share with you guys my knowledge and we're gonna get into a bit of detail in regards to what a Templar should mean in PvE. Obviously we're talking top PvE, we're talking about performing, we're talking about achieving something super important in PvE, not just swiping in Makarna or doing your daily Runadium hard mode runs with a full group, yeah? We're talking about cool stuff here. So first of all, there are 4 ingredients. I'm gonna name them to you. Later on, we're going to get into detail. Ingredient number 1 is the group that you play with. This is super important. Ingredient number 2 is your ping. Number 3, your skill. Number 4, your gear. Now, let's go into just a little bit of an explanation for all of these 4. The group that you play with. Now, it is super important in every game, every multiplayer game, to have a solid group, a static group, a group that shares your ideas, your opinions about the game, your interests, and a group of players that is as dedicated as you are. It sucks ass to play with a noob ass motherfucker that never does enough damage as he's supposed to, never wants to improve because it's just PvE. He just wants to be good in PvP. Now, I can tell you one thing for sure: every awesome PvPer that I met in 6 years of AION was awesome in PvE as well. Because they knew that if they're good players, they're going to be good players everywhere. I have met some plebs as well, quite many of them, that they didn't really find the purpose of always improving in terms of PvE, of socketing composites in their PvE gear, in getting better gear. So that's a bummer, that's a party pooper, and that's why I'm saying that you have to find friends that are suitable for you. Now, if you want to really perform, you have to have people that always want to improve in terms of PvE. In in regards to group composition, one very important thing is the leadership in that group as well. That is another key factor that goes in this have a good group ingredient. Without good leadership, without proper calls from one guy, without decision making, then it's kind of hard for you to finish anything server first, Europe first, etc. Because it's just not going to work out for you. You can be as skilled as you want, all individuals, but if you don't click together as a group under someone, it's never really gonna work out. I want to give you an example also. Since I met my friends, I have a really close circle of friends with which I do lots of things, including LAN parties, and we visit each other. We're from various countries, not from the same country, but we get to see each other every year anyway. So since I met them about 4 years ago, we have together always been server first group on the previous server that we used to play on. Had no real competition whatsoever, and we had an absolute blast being the best group in terms of PvE out there. So I can tell you that that changed when we met, not before. Before we were just all 5 individuals playing their own games. When we met, everything changed because we just clicked and we stuck together, and it was all just amazing. In terms of gear, guys, as for a Templar, the set that you're wearing, whether it's Makarna, Catalamize, Rune Shield Tower, Rune Tribe, Coin Gear, whatever, doesn't matter as much as the mana stones that you put on it. So use whatever set you can, farm, or whatever set you're lucky to get, but do use always the perfect mana stone build for the content that you're doing. Yeah, I can tell you from my experience, I finished Makarna server first with Ancient Coin Gear. I finished Catalamize and Runadium server first with Tiamat's Fort Unenchanted, just because I had the right build of Mana Stone. So set, not as important as the first 3 ingredients, but Mana Stone build that you have, crucial to have the right one. Of course, gear is always going to be more important than, I don't know, what server you play on. Yeah, because that's also kind of important in PvE, because without a nice decent server, if you're on the Polish server, I've heard they're not really having enough good people or interested people to do top level content and to compete with Europe first with other servers. So obviously gear is more important than what server you play on. I'm just saying, out of those 4 ingredients, gear is the least important. Why? Because as a Templar, it's super easy, guys. You play around your cooldowns, you do not play around your gear. Now, in some of the PvE content, like Tiamat's Hidden Space, for example, then you do need a magic resist set. You're not gonna be coming there gearless or with Tiamat 4th gear. Now, what does Templar do with gear? Maybe you're wondering, oh my god, but then why am I working for gear if I'm a Templar, right? Because Saivo said you can do everything without, and you can. With gear, the Templar not only becomes a part of the group guy, just there to kite some ads, pop some cooldowns, use lots of pots, and pray for everything to go perfect. But the Templar becomes a really powerful support tool as well. Now, what you can do with gear. Um, with a lot of gear, you can easily go to Runadium normal mode and ignore all of the ads from the beginning to the end. I think I'm also going to be showing you one of those videos how we do it. You know, it's just like a stupid, crazy, two geared strat. You just don't give a fuck about any ads in Runadium. Normal mode, hard mode, doesn't matter. In normal mode, we do no ads, one healer. In hard mode, we do need the support healer if we were to do the no ads strat at all. So what does that give you? Well, that gives you, first of all, if you're into min-maxing your character and you're into playing always better and just basically overall ownage. The point is, the Templar becomes a super powerful support tool and becomes a super great addition to your group's overall fastness level, enjoyment level, etc. Because if you don't kill any ads in Runadium, one run is gonna take you 6 minutes. If you kill all the ads in Runadium, one run is gonna take you 10 minutes. Now the thing is, the difference between 6 and 10 is 4. Very fucking obvious. But the point is that if you do 4 Runadiums in a row, then that 4 minutes turns into 12 minutes. Yeah. So you save 12 minutes out of the total of 40, which is really fucking awesome. If you think about the fact that it takes you 40 minutes usually to do 4 Runadiums normal mode, and with a super geared Templar that has a, obviously, as I said, rule number one, group, party, obviously that Templar needs a good Cleric, needs a good Chanter, needs really good DPS. So, because that's rule number one. So if you take that Templar and put him with super much gear, over geared, good feather, a ginormous chunk of HP. Not only he takes your runs down from 10 to 7 or 6 minutes, which takes it from 40 to what is that? 4, 12 to takes it from 40 to 26 minutes, which is an increase of 40% in your time gain. I'm all about numbers. So that's 40% of time of less time wasted on PvE or on that particular dungeon, which is Runadium, which is outdated anyway. So it's super awesome. Now, on top of that, let's say you're not saving time, right? Let's say you're doing harder things like Makarna, for example. Now, an undergeared Templar in Makarna is okay. You can survive with your Empyrean armor, you can survive with your pots, you can survive with Prayer of Resilience. You're gonna be Gucci with Iron Skin, you're gonna be popping really selfish Empyrean Providences for yourself, so you're gonna be just fine. No doubt about it. But the thing is, if you're super geared, then you're not gonna be just fine. You're gonna be able to start taking players that are newer to the scene and start showing them Makarna, start doing some community things, start playing you plus you can take two of your alts, not of your alts, but of your group's alts, for example, that are not so geared. You can start carrying um, other people, including the DPS and the newbie cleric, for example, because you're not going to be needing as much heal, and then you're going to be telling the cleric, hey brother, you know, you're new, you're a fucking noob, don't worry, you know, I'm here to help you. Because with lots of gear you're going to block everything that happens there. With I don't know, 30,000 HP, you're not gonna fucking feel when the boss hits you for 7k because you're full of magic suppression and HP. So that's what happens with a geared Templar. It becomes a super good addition help to all of the group members. You can stop running prayer of shit ass resilience. Like I told you in my PvE stigma guide, prayer of resilience in PvE is ass. So you can stop running that and start running prayer of victory. Increases 1.6 thousand HP of the group members and also heals them for 800. That is some of the things you can afford to do if you're super geared. If you're under geared, then you don't fucking really want to give your group members 1.6 thousand more HP. But fuck that, who cares? I need the prayer of resilience so I can heal myself more, because I'm 20k HP or I'm 15k HP. I'm gonna die 2 hits. I don't have any ancient mana stone slots. I don't have any magic suppression. So these are some of the really delicate things that you have to think about as a Templar. That's how I see the Templar, and that has been my journey and my road in AION. I was also under geared, and I was also feeling the pressure, and I was also putting pressure on the Cleric to heal me more than others, which leads me to point number, I don't know what point this is, 3, 4. Make your Cleric feel safe with you in the group. Make your Cleric, same as I told you in the PvP guide, make your Cleric not necessarily needing to be always up your ass, to run after you while you're kiting ads because you're, oh my god, you're about to die, to how can I say, to put self reses on you because he's afraid that you might die. Of course, there are in AION mechanics in which the Templar kinda dies because you decided that that's what's gonna happen. But that's one thing when it's planned, and it's another thing when you're so fucking noob or when you're so cheap on using your fucking cooldowns that you're just gonna be dying, and you're gonna be next time the Cleric is gonna be like, oh, shit, well, this motherfucker died. I'm gonna put him the self res. You know, why not in Makarna be a geared Templar, and the Cleric can just put the rest on the guy that's always taking the bombs instead of your lazy ass. Because, it so happens that sometimes, in rare occasions, shit goes down. And as I told you before, when shit goes down in AION, it goes really down, all the way to the fucking bottom. So, if you're survivable and super geared, which you should be struggling and working towards anyway, in terms of PvE, then you're gonna save the day, because that guy that died with the bomb is gonna have a self res and is not gonna just stay dead there while the bard or the chanter tries to res him, when in the meantime, if for example they stop to res him at that particular time, comes an AoE by coincidence, and then someone else dies because the cleric is too busy resing. Just saying, this is one of the million examples from the millions of dungeons that there are in AION. So what did I let's do a really quick recap, guys. Rule number one, you're nothing without your party. That you have to know. Rule number two, I think this was rule number two. Rule number two, keep your cleric safe. Keep your cleric off your ass by always thinking about your stigma composition, gear composition for what particular dungeon you go into, and also positioning yourself at the right time. Which leads me into rule number three, which is position yourself and be super smart. This is key to playing Templar. As I was telling you so far in the beginning of the video, it is super important. Yeah. So ingredients of a successful Templar in PvE: have a solid group, have a solid ping, or try to at least have a half decent ping, which is about 60, maybe 70 ping. That I think 70 is acceptable as well. I can work with 70 in PvE. Ingredient number three is your skill. So practice your skill and think about PvE as much as you think about PvP. If you're gonna do PvE, if you're not gonna do PvE, then whatever. Don't do it. Don't think about it. Don't give a shit. Suck in it. Whatever. And rule number four: take care of your gear, because with gear you're gonna feel better yourself, because you're gonna feel like a boss. And second of all, your cleric is gonna feel better, your DPS is gonna be faster, your runs are gonna be faster, you're gonna be earning more time to do other things, PvP, do other PvE, take care of your real life more. Because to be honest, AION is a fucking grindy game, and it's no fun to just continue doing those YP Makarna runs for the rest of your life until 5.0 comes and NCSoft gives you another fucking attack or HP buff if you enchant your gear or free stuff. So Templar geared is a god. Templar not geared is super okay, but just okay, mediocre. You're gonna be bathing there somewhere in the middle with all the other uh, plebs. So don't do that. At the end, guys, I think we need to wrap this one up. I will tell you a couple of more things. First of all, I switch very often stigmas in PvE, super often. If you want to see stigma builds and my stigma builds for all of the main dungeons in AION, you can check out my guide for the stigma builds. I'm actually gonna put a link to that one in the description below as well. So I switch them a lot. You also switch them because it's part of being smart. Being smart means also knowing how much you can take, means also knowing how much your premade can take. What are you gonna do? What strats are you gonna pull? Are you playing cleric enchanter or are you playing solo cleric? Are you playing maybe solo chanter? Think, adjust to the needs of the dungeon. And I'm serious. I hate seeing you guys having your one and only PvE build. That's my PvE build because I have a fucking heal, I have this and I have that. I go like that everywhere. Well, no, don't go like that everywhere. Think about what gear you're wearing, think about your limits, and think about your group's limits. Super important. Maximize your runs. You don't have to be geared in order to be geared. You have to be geared to take advantage of being geared. So as a Templar, it's one of the best classes in AION to take advantage of gear. So much things happen and so many things change for your static, for your pre-made, if you are a Templar that has lots of gear, lots of skill, and a good ping. So many things happen. Other than that, guys, let's see. How many sets do I have for PvE? For PvE, I have unlimited sets, but that's not the point. The point is, in PvE, I use two separate sets. Why do I use two separate sets? Because in the current meta of the game, there is no need for a Templar to have more than two PvE sets. Before in 3.0, it was super amazing to have like three different sets with three different builds. Not gonna go into that. But right now, 4.91 and until 5.1, 5.0, two sets is enough. One set that I use for mostly everything is an HP block magic suppression set that is going on a Makarna set. So that's my choice for Makarna. That's my choice for Catalamize. And that's it. Makarna and Catalamize I do in Magic Suppression HP block composites. Obviously, all of my sets are plus 15 or better in terms of PvE. In terms of PvP, the same. So you should be enchanting your PvE gear. I highly recommend you enchanting your PvE gear because it gives you that extra HP, which is just amazing as a Templar. Feather, as high as you can go with the feather, that's amazing. HP, amazing. Attack, pure attack as a tanking Templar, that's just golden because you have so many skills that increase your attack power, and you have so many you have that air change skill that is so beautiful in PvE, to just auto attack and use your shield and mace, shield and warhammer, shield and sword. Shield and sword I have shield and sword for Katalamai set, and shield and sword for Makarna set. So which leads me into my second set, which is a mainly block set. That set I use in Runadium, normal hard mode. That set I use in Runeshield Tower. That set I use in Sauro, and that's about it because I don't really do any other dungeons because they're all too low level already. So I use a full block set. I use an HP slash magic, an HP slash block, and with magic suppression composites. On the Hyperion set, I use block, ancient mana stones, just for you guys to know, because the more block, the better. That other set has indeed, I will admit, has indeed some HP block mana stones as well, but I mainly have one block set and one HP slash a little bit of block magic separation set. One other thing I want to touch upon before we wrap this video up, guys, is something that I think is not really discussed and not really understood properly. Templar PvE DPS. I want to talk a little bit about this as well, and I will answer two questions. Question number one, can you go as a Templar DPS in PvE? The short answer to that is yes. Should you go as a Templar DPS full in PvE? The short answer to that is no. In my opinion, Templars are the best tanks, so Templars should definitely focus on tanking in PvE instead of DPSing. Obviously, you can go as a DPS as well. You're never gonna be number one. You're never gonna be in the top 2 out of 6 people. If you are, then that means you should consider sacking your DPS friends or making them improve really fast because they suck balls. Now, the only people that a Templar can theoretically out DPS is a Chanter, a Bard, an Aether Tech, and a Gunner. If a Templar out DPSs any other class besides what I mentioned already, then there's a big problem with the player behind the other class. Now, I consider that a tanky tank, super survivable, super focused on tanking, you know, things, speeds up the run and makes it more cost efficient in terms of pots, scrolls, whatever, and time efficient. Yeah, because you can tank more, and with a good AoE strat, you can AoE more, you can last more, you can skip some mechanics, you can skip a support, for example. You don't need to have, for example, Chanter plus Cleric in any content in AION these days, not even Makarna, to be honest. I mean, not in general, but in your group. Yeah, you can get the buffs from a Chanter before entering the dungeon, and then you can skip all the mantras. Especially if you're playing with lots of clothies, they don't benefit as much from what a Chanter has to give. My friends are Bard, Sorcerer, Spirit Master, Cleric, Chanter. So we can skip the Chanter, and that person can play on a Ranger alt, and then we have more DPS, and I can be super survivable with the Cleric healing. We can skip the Cleric and just get a Chanter depending on what alts we're playing, etc. But me going as a DPS, that is an idea that I am against. I have to admit, I do go as a DPS sometimes because content is already so easy and I'm so bored of tanking that I go as a DPS. But in theory, I would advise focus on the tanking part, be better in that first, and then focus on the mediocre DPS that you can pull out. So guys, I wish you lots of love. I hope to see you in game, and I wish you lots of fun as a Templar in PvE. Tell me how it goes for you guys in the comments below. I'm really interested in your builds. I'm really interested in your ideas, theory crafting, and what in general do you do with your Templar in game. So again, lots of love, guys, and see you soon.